Greetings and salutations.
I don't know what's going on right now, but good morning, guys. This is Sam, and this is the After the Bars podcast and the Morning Mayhem edition. How are you guys doing today? Oh, I know what's going on. Hold on. Hold on. Technical difficulties. Dude, this sounds so crazy. One second, guys. It's got to be this one. Yes, it is. All right, fixed it. Wow, that was nuts. Good morning, guys. It's good to see everybody. Welcome to the Morning Mayhem Show. I literally do not know what day it is. It is Wednesday, 9:36 a.m., August 6th. Man, it's good to be here. I feel good to be here. Sorry I had to take yesterday off. It was a self-care day. We'll just call it that. It was definitely a self-care day. I needed it. Yeah, I've been taking a lot of those lately, huh? But anyways, welcome to the show. We have a great show today. And I don't think I've ever said that. I don't think I've ever said, man, we got a great show. You know, you guys are, hope you're here for the ride. No, I mean, maybe I've said that once before, maybe twice, but it's not often. I don't say it every day. I just hope the show is going to be great. But whenever we're talking about Alan Jackson from the Karen Reed trial, it's going to be a good show because he never fails to deliver whenever he's either defending someone or he's talking about defending someone, either in the past or the future. He's just a rock star in my eyes. He's a crusader. He really is. And I don't think he would call himself that, but just off the cuff, I'm saying he's an absolute crusader, and he doesn't do it for fame or limelight. In Karen Reed's situation, he's doing it strictly justice for John and to fight the injustice that has happened to Karen Reed and continues to happen. And I'm not like a psycho right wing, dancing on Peggy O'Keefe's lawn supporter, but I'm a huge supporter. I try to be respectful, but as I've said before, there's going to become a time that if the O'Keefes don't admit that they've been wrong, and look, it's so easy to admit you've been wrong, and you're a better person for it. Like, I try to admit when I'm wrong, whenever I'm wrong, and most of the time I realize I'm wrong, and the times that I stand on it, stand on being right when I know I'm wrong, it's my ego. It's strictly ego, and the O'Keefes are just being driven by ego, and they just don't want to be wrong. They just don't want to admit they're wrong. But anyways, that's not what I'm here to talk about today. I'm here to talk about justice for John, and we're here to talk about Alan Jackson and what his plans are. He did an interview on a radio station in Boston yesterday. I don't know if it's just a podcast or if it's a radio station. I don't know what it is. I've skimmed through it. And there's some good stuff in there. And a lot of the things that he's talking about in there validates the things that I've been saying since the beginning of the trial, since the end of the trial, what the landscape is going to look like in the local justice department of Canton, of Boston, of Massachusetts. I mean, it's at a state level in Massachusetts, the corruption is, because you have state troopers that were involved in the investigating the Karen Reed case. Or really, it's the John O'Keefe case. It's the unaliving of John O'Keefe, and Karen Reed is just another victim of that situation. You know, of course, by the McAlberts and others that have tried to take her down, knowing that she's innocent, knowing they didn't have a case to prove beyond a reasonable doubt, and knowing they were going to lose, and they still cost the taxpayers millions of dollars to try a losing, dead in the water case. 1,000,000%. So anyways, we're going to take a look at that. We're going to take a look at I have some Epstein stuff that I'm going to do a show on, or I could do it today. I haven't watched what I want to show you guys. And usually I'm like, hey, I'm going to react to it with you guys. But I'm finding it's better if I do watch it first. That way, not to like plan on what I'm going to say, because I pretty much just say how I'm feeling, and it can change if I watch it the first time to the second time. But because it's serious stuff, there's victims involved, and I don't want to say anything out of pocket about victims or, I don't know. I don't want to dox people, but it's an old 60 Minutes episode, basically about the modeling industry and the people and the friends of Epstein. And I want to watch that with you guys. But I think I'm going to watch it first. I don't know. I'll decide as we're doing the show. But let's take a look in the old chat. Well, no, first let's just play the intro and get that over with, and then I'll check in with the chat. I am Sam. This is After the Bars. Good morning, Vietnam. I'll start to respond. So when I get texts, my own ideas. Oh shit! I didn't mean to do that. I did not mean to do that. Yeah. So this is a radio station. It's in. I'm pretty sure it's Boston. Let me pull the tab up real quick. Pretty sure it's Boston. Yeah, WEEI, Boston's sports original. Okay, it's a sports station. It's probably like ESPN on the radio. So yeah, we're gonna play that, but I didn't want to do that. I was just making sure my tabs are up. Let's go into the chat and see what's going on with you guys. I missed you guys yesterday. I know I said I was going to do a community check-in yesterday. I just wasn't able to do it. I just wasn't. I have Hazley during the day, and I was trying to finish a documentary. I didn't feel like talking. Really, that's what it was. I didn't feel like even talking to my loved ones. I just was, I felt mute. And I went and did a tattoo last night. That was fun. So anyways, good thing I have it up on the big screen, the chat, because I really can't read my chat and the StreamYard. So Shell Dub, good morning to you. Cat K's in the house. My other's keeper. Hey, how are you doing? Oh, look, my other's keeper. And it's got a little bit of coffee left. This was a gift sent to me by Kim at my other's keeper. It is just awesome, and thank you so much for sending it. It's a picture of me on a hamster. It's a Samster, I'm guessing. I just now realized that it's a Samster. But I'm guessing that's when that picture of me on the hamster is when her and I were doing a show together. I think the screen froze and my face was like that. And everyone was laughing in the chat. And I was like, what's everyone laughing at? And they're like, oh, your face froze and you should see the look on your face. Well, I think Kim screenshotted it and made me a Samster mug. And I've been using it every day. Well, I got it like 2 days ago. I got it the day she told me that it was in the mail or that it was in my mailbox. But it's awesome. I love the size of it because on my Keurig, I can push, either, 8, 10, or 12. And this is perfect for the bigger cup. And it leaves me a little bit of room to put a splash of cold water in it so I can drink it quicker. So thank you so much, my other's keeper. I really appreciate it. And Hazley put the sticker on her air conditioner. She sent me a sticker too that has that on it. And Hazley put it on her air conditioner. I don't know why she put it on her air conditioner. She's just funny. But anyways, thank you again. Cheryl, good morning to you. Caddy Connie and Loudmouth Linda, good morning to you. Shell Dubs in the house. 3 Clerk Monty. I love that. I love that name. Charlie Lynn, good morning to you. Ben Bacon Bits is in the house. Oh
my gosh.
That's my Ben Bacon Bits new sound for Ben. Kim, good morning to you. How are you doing? Kim, I this is a message for I need to hit Control V from now on.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. Control V, why do you got to paste something? Ben, you are the daddy. You are the daddy. Don't say the T word. Oh, did I say it? Oh, geez. Now I'm going to be shadow banned. And I'm not even kidding. You just can't say it. Oh, my gosh. I probably said it a bunch of times, too. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Thanks. Kim says you're on the right team, Sam. The human team. That's right. I appreciate that. We sure are. Thank you so much, Kim. I got to fix this hat. It is way too tight. Which is crazy because this is one of my head must be getting bigger. And I already have an 8 head. Oh yeah. I can edit after the stream. I can take out that part. Absolutely. My 8x6mm blackout is good. Comment was from last night. I just hit to see what the last thing. Oh, okay. I was like, I'm so confused. I am so confused. Anyways, hopefully you guys are all doing good today. I am super stoked to see what's going on in this radio show. Like I said, I skimmed through it and like wherever I stopped, I just like kind of fast forward stop and it was all pretty good. These guys are good. So let's get to it. And then I'll decide on the Epstein stuff.
The nation and certainly around here we're obsessed with. And joining us this morning on this show for the first time, one of her attorneys, Alan Jackson. Alan, good morning.
Hey, Greg, how are you this morning?
Great to have you on. I know it's early out there in California. Appreciate you
Ben.
taking the time.
Pleasure.
I mean, I've been trying to get you on since the trial, but I mean, I know you had other things you had to do.
Well, I need a little courting. You didn't court me, Greg. Come on.
Well, I tried.
I just love Alan Jackson.
You
man.
took to Instagram
I am a
over the
fanboy for
weekend
sure.
to say that you're not done yet, and the next chapter is coming. I know there are a lot of us who want to know what that means, Alan.
Well, I was just sort of generally referring to something I'm very excited about, which is I've agreed to join Karen and her very capable defense team in the civil action. So I'll be coming back to Boston. You haven't seen the last of me yet.
So that's pretty big news just in itself. So he's going to join the civil team in the civil case. And I guarantee you, I mean, they have a, like, look, the rules are a lot different in this civil case. We all know that. It would be pretty easy if she didn't have an above average lawyer to lose that case, because the burden of proof is way less. It's way less. And, without ARCA, period, or on by itself, the civil case would be a loss. She was drunk. He got out of the car. Nothing. There's no other explanation for it if you don't consider a fight and him getting jumped and unalived by Higgy Bear. If you can't consider any of that, then she's liable civilly. I think just by letting him get out of the car drunk and by her drinking and driving, she can be held responsible without a good lawyer. So praise God. And I don't say that flippantly. Praise God that Alan Jackson is going to be her lawyer, because it's the right her to win that case, and for the O'Keefes to lose that case because of their ego is the right thing to happen. It just absolutely is. So I'm so glad he's joined that team, and he's doing it just to make sure that they're doing everything possible to make sure she doesn't get found liable civilly.
And the really good news is I'm going to be bringing Elizabeth Little with me as well. So,
badass!
The band is.
We all love Elizabeth Little.
Staying together, getting back together, but we're intending on writing a few new chapters.
That legal team, you're the legal team that you have joined, has sent subpoenas to the Mass State Police and the Norfolk DA's office, seeking information on witnesses who testified at the trial, on Michael Proctor, and on evidence from the federal investigation. We discussed the federal investigation a lot on this show. From your perspective, in your opinion, did that federal investigation end?
Absolutely not.
No, I've never heard of such a thing. I know what Mr. Brennan said. I know what the hired gun said in court about being contacted. And there being a closure to the case. We weren't contacted. I was never contacted. I've never heard a word of that directly from the horse's mouth. And I've been doing this for a long time. And I can tell you it's not a thing. It's just not a.
And some would say, well, they don't need to contact Alan Jackson. You're right. They don't need to contact Alan Jackson, but they like Alan Jackson. They gave Alan Jackson ARCA to win that case. They would say, hey, man, we didn't find nothing. Just as a courtesy, they would tell Alan Jackson that, hey, man, we're closing the case, which they don't do. Federal prosecutors don't do that. They don't. I've been prosecuted federally a few times. They just don't do it. And they can wait and wait and wait until the very last minute. If there's a statute of limitation, which there isn't here because it's the big M, right? They don't have to. They can wait 10 years if they want to prosecute someone, and they're just going to let everyone feel safe and like they got away with something. And then you're going to see it. Bam, 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 bam. Indictment, indictment, indictment. And I just pray that Judge Beverly Canoni gets indicted in some way, shape, or form. At the very least, I hope she loses her law license. She's crooked. She's crooked. Crooked Bev. Crooked Annie Bev.
Greg, you just don't do that. As a prosecutor, especially a federal prosecutor, you don't look at the target, call the target, and say, "Oh yeah, we're done. We're done here." What if something new comes up tomorrow, or next week, or next month, and you're within the statute? You don't quote unquote close investigations. So that's something that I'd never heard of, and I no, in my opinion, there's no such thing as a quote unquote closed investigation. They can say whatever they want over at the Norfolk DA's office. I'm sure that was a curated comment or a series of comments, but
to the jury.
I'll leave it to the feds to do what the feds do best, and that is to investigate. And that's exactly what I think is continuing to happen. But that's just my opinion. Speaking
of that, of the DA's office, should the taxpayers in this state be concerned with how much was spent on both of these trials?
Oh God, yes. Yeah. This is the DA's office serves at the pleasure of the public. He's an elected official, and he's got responsibility to the public for their confidence and to their pocketbooks. I have no idea how much they spent. I know how much we spent, and I can imagine they spent as much or more. I mean, there were millions and millions and millions of dollars of.
And they justified spending that money. They justified spending that money because a police officer was killed, but it was all for their ego also to be right. And they thought they could railroad Karen Reed. They just thought they could, and they cost the taxpayers. That's why you see so many free Karen Readers, because they know she's getting railroaded, and it's their money. The people that live in Massachusetts, it's their money. And Masshole Mafia or Troll Mafia or whatever the hell she used to be called, Katie, whatever the F her name is, she's a dumb bee. I used to be in a community with her, and she's a troll. She's a self-admitted professional troll. And so everything she's doing against Turtle Boy and Karen Reed did it, and we're all delusional. She's just a professional troll. She used to admit that she was, and now she doesn't. But she does it just for clicks and views and to be oppositional. That's all she does. I'm sorry I got on a rant about her, and not all of you know who she is. She's more on X, and has some YouTube stuff. Masshole Mafia or whatever the hell she used to call herself, or calls herself now still. And I totally digressed by even getting into that. Well, all I'm saying is that's why people are so wanting to protest, and it's because of all the tax dollars that got spent on a bogus case. They didn't need to get spent. The district attorney in Canton couldn't pay one of his own to try the case, or didn't have confidence in them to try the losing case, which is, it's probably both can be true. So he had to pay a crooked mafia lawyer to prosecute Karen Reed, a crooked mafia lawyer. I did a whole show on it, and I'm going to leave a link in the description over there in the corner to go to that video on the replay. I did just a quick 10-minute video on how crooked Hank Brennan was in his past, and what he truly is a crooked mafia lawyer. Of course he's going to do it. It's almost $1 million, or just over $500,000. I'll say that. I don't want to be to say things that aren't true, to make my point.
Taxpayer money spent that was completely unnecessary because of a persecution, not a prosecution, because of some sort of a personal vendetta. After the first trial, everybody knew what has happened inside that jury room, inside that deliberation room. She was acquitted. I've talked about this, the fact that Karen and I and our team may be the only attorney-client relationship where we've actually acquitted someone of murder twice in the same case with the same charges. They knew that they couldn't prove this case coming out of the first trial. They knew they couldn't prove the case going into the first trial, and that they pressed forward. And then, of course, following the debacle of the first trial and the joke that was the unrecorded verdict, they forged ahead again. And it was, some sort of, it turned from a professional objective prosecution of a case to a personal vendetta, and it cost the taxpayers millions and millions and millions of dollars. I mean, just their special prosecutor alone, his bill was north of $500,000, closing in on $600,000, just him, for a completely failed prosecution.
What I thought.
Which is odd. You worked in the DA's office in Los Angeles as an ADA.
Yeah.
You have perfectly capable ADAs who could have tried this case, and it wouldn't cost you $600,000, correct? That's normally the way it goes.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's normally the way it goes. And if Michael Morrissey didn't have those kinds of prosecutors who could try the case capably, then maybe he needs to find another job. That's his only job, is to populate the courtroom with people who are competent, not just competent, but ethical. I don't know, maybe there were some ethical prosecutors inside that office who said, not just, I can't. They probably could have prosecuted the case.
No,
it's a matter of calling witnesses and doing an opening and closing statement, putting on some evidence. I think he had prosecutors who said they wouldn't because it's unethical. They didn't believe in it. So what does he do? He goes outside the parameters of the contours of his office and finds some defense attorney to come on board and switch hats midstream and become a prosecutor. It's outrageous. You just don't see this kind of thing.
Alan, I was so impressed with how you and your team were able to handle the first trial and the second trial, but it did feel so drastically different, the way in which you decided to handle witnesses. And the first trial seemed like there was just bombshell after bombshell. It was much more McAlbert's heavy, while the second trial was much more database. What went into the decision to kind of switch things up and choose to go down that road at the second time around?
There wasn't a...
I'll tell you exactly what it is. They focused on the second trial. They focused more on creating reasonable doubt, and you could tell from the after the second witness, they're like, oh, they're gonna make sure that they create enough reasonable doubt with each witness, because really, with just one, if you can create a reasonable doubt with just one witness, that's the whole trial. It's done. It's done. They're like. That's reasonable doubt. You know, the proof that they're trying to testify to as a witness. If there's just a little bit of reasonable doubt, that's reasonable doubt in itself. You don't even need to do the rest. But they did it with every single witness. Not one witness for the prosecution had any kind of factual basis proof that John O'Keefe was struck by her SUV, or that there was that they were in a fight, or that she had ill intent to hurt John O'Keefe, and the damage, the planning of all of it, man. It's just crazy, man. It's just crazy. But yeah, that was the new strategy. But I'm sure he's going to say that.
In what our theme and theory of the case was. As a matter of fact, there was no difference in what our theme and theory of the case was, which is the SUV never hit John. He wasn't killed by being hit by a car. That's the basic postulate. In the second trial, it was very clear that the prosecution was going to do something different. They were going to try to style themselves as a data-driven prosecution. We knew that the data helped us. So any trial lawyer has to do this. You have to be committed to your cause, but you also have to be able to be up on the balls of your feet. You have to be able to be nimble and pivot with the prosecution, because you're not just parrying, you're defending, but you're also, to a certain degree, you're on the offense as well. So what we decided to do was shift and learn from the first trial that I wanted to press much harder on reasonable doubt and undermining everything they say about the data, because the data actually served our purposes. The data proved the car did not hit,
it was crazy.
Did not collide.
It was
with John
almost
O'Keefe.
it was
So that's
almost like every single witness was a defense witness. Like truly, they didn't even have to put on their case, but they had such good witnesses. Again, I say ARCA. I know I'm being redundant with ARCA, but yeah. So I mean, they could have won that case without even putting on a case. It would have been amazing if they would have done that, because it just would have shown how corrupt, how just absolutely corrupt everyone is, because they had no case. They tried to present it, and it was bogus, and they won without even putting on a defense. That would have been killer.
What you saw in the second trial is a much more sort of tactical approach. They didn't call certain witnesses. They didn't call Brian Higgins. They didn't call Brian Albert. They didn't. There were big witnesses that they just forwent altogether. We knew that there was a chance they would do that. We didn't know until they closed their case who they were and weren't going to call. They didn't have to tell us in advance what their trial strategy was. But we were ready and able to sort of pivot on the move to not just defend against what they were presenting data-wise, but to attack them for not calling people like, oh, I don't know, how about Michael Proctor, the lead investigator on whose shoulders you base the entire prosecution, and you don't call him. So we knew that there was going to be some shifts, and part of being a good trial lawyer is to be able to make those shifts sort of on the fly, and that's what we did, and we did it with Karen's approval and with the rest of the team's approval.
Speaking of Michael Proctor, he has had a civil service hearing yesterday trying to get his job back, saying that suggestion is that he was not.
He'll never get his job back.
Troopers.
He'll never be in law
deserve to
enforcement
be
anywhere.
A trooper in Massachusetts.
Oh my God! No, please tell me they're not going to give him his job back. He's claiming he wasn't treated like other troopers. Well, then act like other troopers. Don't do what you did, which is to take your trooper's hat off and to become a sort of a sideshow. This guy had so many biases going into the case. I mean, it was embarrassing. I don't need to go into, and I won't go into all the details of what he did, not just to the investigation, but to Karen Reed personally, just dehumanizing her, maintaining relationships.
Yeah, talked about her medical issues, called her retarded, said there was no nudes yet, that she's fucked. What in the first 17 hours of the case said that she was fucked. Pretty basically just stating his intent to his boss in a group chat that, yeah, she's fucked. I'm getting her. He's a piece of shit,
with people that he should have been investigating, the very people he should have been investigating. No. Look, to be a sworn officer and to take on the mantle of the protection of the community, that is a privilege, Greg and Courtney. That's a privilege. That is not a right. And he squandered that privilege with bias and a lack of objectivity and lying through his teeth about his own relationships, about dehumanizing with conduct that was dehumanizing of the person he was supposed to objectively be investigating. No, he's lost all his right to carry a badge and a gun. He's an embarrassment. He should never, ever, ever be in a position to control
and just by him saying that, he should never be in a position. Why isn't he on the Brady list? The Brady list being the list that it's a list of experts, officers that have testified in trial and have proven to have lied, who have been proven to have lied and been dishonest on a case. That way, if they ever come on to another case where they're testifying for the prosecution, the defense can pull up the Brady list. Well, like, look, because they did it with Officer Deaver. They put her on the Brady list, or maybe they haven't made that decision yet. But Alan Jackson tried to get her put on the Brady list. I don't know for sure if that's happened or not. But I wonder why they didn't do it with Proctor. There's more proof of Proctor. Well, I know why. Because he's not a cop no more. I just answered my own
the community members that he serves. And that's exactly what being a police officer allows you to do. It's a lot of power. And he's not someone who should ever be commissioned with that power ever again.
Alan, you discussed objectivity. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you miss Judge Bev?
Oh my God, that's a whopper. If I go the rest of my life and never have to walk into a room with Judge Bev, God bless her, it'll be too soon.
God bless her.
Yeah. And by the way, that's the other thing is I don't have to say it. I was right there in the mix. I was in the fishbowl. I was wondering if others were clocking what I was seeing. Sometimes you're so far in it. It's like a fish that doesn't know it's wet. I wasn't sure if others were seeing what I was seeing inside that courtroom.
No, we all saw it, right, guys? We all saw it. I mean, 1,000,000% we saw it. It was, and what about the hand signals? You know what I mean? To the face to tell, oh boy, to object, because knowing that she would sustain the objection. I mean, every single question about. I mean, she didn't even need to make hand signals anymore, but she did it like twice. I mean, it was so obvious, and just by her rulings, it was obvious.
A judge's job is to absolutely be unbiased, to put all of the biases aside. Everybody comes into life in these situations with certain biases.
Absolutely.
The job of the judge is to put those biases aside.
I was just going to say that.
And she showed very, very quickly and undeniably that she could not and would not do that. There were rampant biases in favor of the prosecution, in favor of the Commonwealth, in favor of Mr. Lally and Ms. McLaughlin, in favor of Mr. Brennan once he took over, and against the defense from nearly day one, nearly from the moment I walked into court the first time on September 25th, 2022. So no, there was a breakdown of the entire system, and she was part of it.
Do you believe that there was a conspiracy to frame Karen Reed, or we debated this a lot on this show with Curtis, or do you think it was just awful investigative work? It's a combination of both, for sure, in my opinion.
Yes.
A combination of both. There was an awful investigative work, but it wasn't just incompetence. It went beyond just incompetence. You could read in Michael Proctor's text messages that it wasn't just incompetence. He had a view of her. He had a thought process about her from nearly day one, right? 16 hours into the investigation, he was already determining that he was going to make sure that it was going to get pinned on the girl. She's going to pay for this. Right? He said it out loud. He said the quiet part out loud. So it's not just incompetence. So now once you go beyond outside the parameters of just incompetence and being stupid, which there was a lot of idiots involved in the investigation as well. Once you go beyond those parameters, now you start getting into the very troubling area of a cover-up. Well, we know that an officer has lost his life. And we also know that we're going to pin it on this girl. So what does that mean by definition, Greg? What does that mean by definition? It means that you're going to cover up what actually did happen. You're going to actively cover up who's responsible. And lo and behold, isn't it amazing that the person that's supposed to be investigating is connected to and related to, and with personal relationships, to the very people that should have been number one, number two, number three on the suspect list. So you tell me, was Karen Reed?
Who killed John O'Keefe? Put a 3 in the chat if you guys, or not a 3, I'm sorry. Put a 1 in the chat if you guys think it was Higgy Bear. Put a 2 in the chat if you think it was Brian. But if it's Higgy Bear, it's Brian too. Right? So, and if it's Brian, it's Higgy Bear too. I don't think they did it together. I think it happened. I think Brian couldn't control Higgy Bear. Higgy Bear went out there. They got in a fight. John fell back, hit his head. Unfortunately, passed away from the head injury. Look, I've seen it. I've seen it happen with my own two eyes. It's one of the. It happens more often than you would believe, by getting punched, knocked out, and falling back and hitting your head and dying. I told this story before. I'm just going to tell it real quick because it's my show. A kid came to the prison, a federal prison down in Louisiana called USP Pollock. Came to the prison. We were on a food strike. We were locked in our cells. We were on a 24-hour lockdown, but we're 24 hours a day lockdown. We were like on month 2. We were on a food strike. No one was taking any food through the hatch. A kid just got there off the bus, took a tray. We had to yell at him, hey, don't take any food. But he was a white kid, and this white boy's name was Conan. He was from Oregon. He comes out and he just tells the kid, man, you shouldn't have taken that. He's like, man, I didn't know it. Before the kid could even explain, Conan popped him one. He fell back, and Conan was getting out in 9 months. Fell back, hit his head, killed the kid. Conan got like 30 years added to his 9-month balance. He was going to get out in 9 months. So it happens. It happens a lot. I'm just one guy with one story. I'm sure there's tons of people that could tell that same story of someone falling back after a hit. Anyways, that's what happened. Yeah, it was Higgy Bear. You guys all know. It was absolutely Higgy Bear. Let's get back to this.
Read frames.
I think I'm going to
Alan,
play the whole
since the
thing.
second
It's only
trial, there
another
have been videos, photos making their way around social
15
media of
minutes.
inside 34 Fairview. It seems like the new owners let you guys inside, whether you were down in the basement looking at the flooring that was pulled up inside the garage.
Right.
There was a video of you outside yelling, and from the Albert's bedroom, you could hear
Yes.
yourself
You guys
pretty
seen
clearly.
that?
Will there be any type of
Maybe I'll go find it.
I know that you guys have signed on for different media rights. Will there be any type of way to dive deeper into that? Will that come up in anything?
Hey guys, sorry to interrupt the
Well,
video, but remember, hit that like button down below. It really helps the channel to grow bigger and better and more diverse. Not that weird, creepy kind of government diverse. I'll Samsplain it for you if you want. You want to hear some Samsplaining? Just like the video down below.
The pain point that the plaintiffs are going to have in their civil suit is this is a very different lawsuit. It's not a criminal lawsuit, and it's certainly not.
Real quick, guys, do you guys know what she was talking about? So the new owners of the house that John O'Keefe lost his life at let Alan Jackson go through and basically inspect the house. He even checked how he had someone recording from the Albert's bedroom window, and he just like did a quick whistle. Hey guys, didn't even yell super loud, and it was really loud. You could hear what was happening in the front street, which negates everything that Brian Albert ever said about like, oh, we didn't hear it, we were asleep, we were woken up by Jen, and that's why we didn't come out, because he knows. Even if he wasn't a cop, you would have come out to it's happening on your front lawn. You would come out. Just that alone is proof that there's some type of cover up that he knows and is covering up, or that he did it and is covering up.
Being governed by Judge Beverly Canoni, who kept out so much of that information. That's why you're seeing it on social media rather than having seen it in the courtroom. All of it was relevant. We attempted to get most of it in, and we were denied, both in the first trial and the second trial. So this new lawsuit is probably very good platform, I'd say, I would suggest to you, for a lot of that information to be aired out completely. So yeah, I don't. That's not the last you're going to see of that information.
Just
That and a lot of other information.
to be
Me
clear,
too,
when
Cat K.
you said this new lawsuit
It
is
gives me the creeps
so
too.
you're joining her civil defense team to defend against the wrongful death suit. Are you also?
Correct.
Is Karen also planning a federal lawsuit on this case?
So that's a interesting question, not one that I'm willing to talk about right now. We have a
You're
lawsuit
under.
that's
Can
in
I
front of
remind
us.
you? I remind you, you're under oath.
Counselor, I object, and I move to strike that comment from the record immediately.
By the way,
yeah.
also, I
Of course, Karen Reed is gonna file a civil lawsuit or a federal lawsuit. Of course she is, and Alan Jackson is gonna represent her. She's gonna sue the shit out of Massachusetts. They're gonna lose so poorly in that lawsuit. So many people are gonna go to prison. You've heard it here. I'm not afraid to say these things. So others are. Look, the people are going to go to prison, and she's going to win. She's going to win such a big lawsuit that they possibly could change the name of Massachusetts to Karen Reed. I'm serious. It's going to be that big. It's going to be huge, 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 and that's why he doesn't want to say. Alan Jackson is set for life. I'm not even talking just financially, but just with the work he has to do on these cases. It's going to be his legacy. He's going to go down in history. Like, I'm not just talking about our own little communities, our Karen Reed community, the After the Bars community, and all these other little sub communities out there that do content on Karen Reed. I'm not just talking about like our history. He's going to go down in history of justice in the United States, and it's going to expose such a deep, massive corruption. I mean, of course, the lead FBI investigator on the case is going to become famous also. I'm just saying he's going to be set for life. You guys just mark my words, man. Mark my words.
offered countless legal strateges during the trial to Alan. Didn't use a single one of them. I just want to make that clear right now.
I think Alan needs your help.
Yeah. I've seen carnival psychics with a better track record than Greg when it comes to legal prowess. I'm just suggesting maybe not.
Alan,
Greg, we'll see what this new lawsuit entails. I can tell you this. I can say this. Karen has proved herself to be a fighter. She's not going to sit back in a corner and get punched, right? Everybody has a plan. I would suggest the following. Everybody has a plan, as the old saying goes, that Mike Tyson made famous.
Hey, I just want to say happy birthday. We are a recovery channel first. So I just want to stop real quick and say happy birthday to John Lazon. 21 years sober. 21 years sober. And I know a little bit about his history. You guys know a little bit about my history. You don't do that without God. You just don't. And so I want to give a shout out to Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior. You don't do that without God. You just don't. So if you guys just send out all the love and you are witnessing a miracle here in our chat, because what happens is that when you give your life up to a higher power, or really to you, it almost has to be God. I mean, it doesn't have to be, and I don't want to get into that discussion. There's many roads to recovery. I've talked about it before, and I've talked about addiction being a disease or a choice, and I've told my testimony on many platforms, many channels, I've been interviewed, and I always have to just thank God that he took the desire away just out of me instantly. I was a chronic relapser, took it away from me instantly. And that's why I say guys like John, myself, we're miracles. God is good, and he's good all the time. All right, let's get back to it.
Until they get hit in the mouth. And Karen Reed has shown that she knows how to hit others in the mouth, meaning how to fight back. I doubt seriously she's going to be a wallflower during the course of this new litigation.
A wallflower. She's a wallflower.
Whatever that means, we'll see.
Okay.
Alan, I know you're probably got something else to do this morning than talk to us. I just am so curious about the period between the trials. As someone who's, I don't understand, I've never studied law. Is there any prerequisite or is there any onus on the Norfolk County DA to prove either new information, or how did you go from the ending and the conclusion of the mistrial into the beginning of the next trial? What was that process like, and what did the state have to do?
That's a great question. The state has an obligation, an ongoing obligation, to ensure that they do not ever present a case in front of a jury that they do not believe
Listen to
can be
this.
proved beyond any and all reasonable doubt to a jury of 12 objective community members. All right, that's the postulate, right? That's the baseline. They have an ongoing obligation to establish. That's the ethics of a prosecutor. You cannot just prosecute a case because it sits on your desk. You have to be convinced as a prosecutor, as an ethical prosecutor, that you can prove the case, prove all the elements of all the charges beyond any and all reasonable doubt to a jury, an independent.
And basically it's like this. So I know lots of people you guys all know I'm a tattoo artist. I tattoo on a lot of law enforcement, a lot of task force agents, guys that have to go undercover and do and work with these drug traffickers that are here in the in my state up here in Montana, and they'll tell me about cases. They'll they're not bound by HIPAA. They don't talk about cases that they might think that I would know the person, of course, but they talk about cases, and what they do is they build these cases. They have a file, and then they give it to a prosecutor, a U.S. attorney, and that prosecutor either accepts it or doesn't. But and they'll give it back to him. I need more evidence. This isn't enough, guys. If you really want to get him, do more control by it, whatever they do. But they just can't just take a case because an FBI agent gives them the case. No, they have to make sure legally that it's that there's probable cause, and that from the beginning that the warrants are all tight, that there's enough evidence, with drug cases, that there's enough, drugs to, maybe get to a minimum mandatory in the federal system. There's a lot. And in the state, it's the same way. The cops, build a case, write a report, whatever they do, and then it gets to the prosecutor, and the prosecutor has to decide. They didn't have enough to prosecute this case. They did it for other reasons that have come to not fruition, but have come to light. And we kind of basically know why. But Alan Jackson knows more than he's telling you. He's even said, man, there's stuff that we couldn't have shown, and I'm not going to talk about it because we're saving it for the movie, or because there's a federal investigation on. When he says, well, I've never heard that, he might be giving us a little misinformation. He might absolutely know that there's still a federal case. They're picking his case apart and getting information from him. They might have even sent Alan Jackson into the Fairview house. And didn't do it on their own because they don't want to bring to light that they're still investigating it. They might have used Alan Jackson as their investigator for the federal case. Absolutely, they can. And so he went in there and recorded it and did all the, this is what it sounds like at this distance. They went into the basement. They seen that stain in the garage, and you guys might not know what I'm talking about. I know some of you do, about the video tape and the video that Alan Jackson did with another investigator, that they went into the house, into the Albert house, and peeked around a little bit. But they very well could have done that for the feds at the most, And at the very least, the feds have all that information, and they did it just so the feds wouldn't be it wouldn't be known that they're still investigating
the jury.
That would
So
be
after
amazing.
the first trial, it was our thought.
That would be amazing.
There's no way that these folks are going to come back to the drawing board and say, "Oh yeah, we're going to do this again." It was nearly 4 months the first time. 3 months and a few days the first time. It ended with, very famously now, it ended with acquittals that were not recorded. Of course, the DA's office is going to go back, sit down at their desk, take a deep breath, and realize, hey, you know what, guys and gals, we did the best we could. We put this case forward the first time, didn't work out. It's not going to work out any better. We don't have any new and different evidence. It's going to be the exact same thing the second time. It's going to cost the taxpayer millions and millions of dollars. We're going to take the loss and walk away. It's the just thing to do. That's the conversation they never had. What Michael Morrissey conversely did is he goes back to the drawing board and says, who can I hire outside the office who's willing to take this piece of garbage,
A mafia lawyer.
lawsuit, and prosecute it? Oh, nobody in the office? I'll just go pay someone. I'll literally, it's offensive. It's offensive. I'm just going to go write someone a big enough check, basically bribe someone to come on board with a big check and prosecute the case that nobody else in the office can or.
You don't have to bribe Hank Brennan. You didn't have to bribe him. You just had to come with the check. And the check was over $500,000. And he's a dirty mob lawyer. It wasn't, you didn't have to bribe him, but I get what he's saying. He's saying it metaphorically. Yeah, you had to find someone outside, bribe someone outside to do it because no one in your office would do it because he either didn't have confidence or they seen it wasn't ethical.
Will do.
I know I said that
so.
already.
What happened between the first and second trial?
When I say mafia lawyer, I mean Whitey Bulger. He defended Whitey Bulger. Let that sink in. Who happened to be unalived at a prison I was at.
Is offensive. It never should have happened, and it was a complete abrogation of their obligations, and it's in keeping with Michael Morrissey's entire tenure as the DA. It's a fiefdom. He runs that like a lord and his manor. He doesn't run it like a public official. He's a disgrace. He's an absolute disgrace.
How deep do you think the if you consider this to be corruption, how deep do you think it goes here in Massachusetts?
To its core. And that when I say that, I don't mean that every single Massachusetts State Police officer is corrupt. Not by a long shot. Most of them are hardworking men and women who get up every day and do the job.
Johnny Lunch Buckets in the house.
Strike fear in the rest of us, right? They run toward the danger. They run toward the bullets and the fire and the fights and those things. I have the deepest admiration for the lion's share of the men and women who do that job. I also have a deep admiration for the lion's share of the prosecutors who populate courtrooms around Massachusetts. But what I've seen during my time in Massachusetts, it hasn't been all that long, a few years, going on 4 years now of working in Massachusetts pretty regularly. It's not a couple of cops. It's not just a couple of cops. What are the odds that you would get a Proctor and a Buchanan and a Tully and these folks that have all been disciplined, Kevin Albert, who have been disciplined, some of them have been fired, almost all of them have been removed from their positions in one case. What are the odds? The odds are almost zero unless the corruption goes extremely deep, unless that kind of conduct is rife throughout the community of the Massachusetts State Police. And also, it doesn't just go deep, it goes high. Michael Morrissey is at the top of that list. He knows better. He damn well knows better. He's a political hack who knows better. And all he cares about is his next election. That's all he gives a crap about, which is offensive.
Were you surprised to see Commissioner Cox say that he had no idea that Kelly Deaver was even involved in the Karen Reed case?
He was beyond that, Greg. He actually said, I've never said the name Karen Reed. That name has never crossed my lips. I've never talked about her.
Impossible, because he had Karen Deaver. He had Deaver in his office and told her to do the right thing.
Or talked about this case. Are you kidding? Are you kidding me? One of your officers was fallen. One of your cops was found dead on a lawn of one of your cops. And one of your, the third leg of that stool is one of your cops is central to the case, dealing with not just one of your officers who's dead, but on the central piece of that puzzle is it happened on one of your officers' lawns. And you're telling me you've never said the name, you don't know the name Karen Reed, you've never heard of this case, you don't know anything about it? Well, either you're incompetent or you're lying, one of the two. And now that you're saying that conversation with Kelly Dever, however she wants to pronounce it, never took place, are you kidding me? Then that tells you one of two things is true. Either you're lying, Commissioner Cox, or you've just proved my point that she's a liar. Which one is it?
It's both.
Well, Alan, you did have a good officer on the stand, though, for you guys, and Officer Barros. And
Officer Barros,
in my opinion, watching that unfold, I think he's the reason, one of the main reasons that the jury swayed in your direction. I mean, he seemed like he was almost a smoking gun.
Nick Barros is a hero, no question. Like I said, most of the men and women carrying a badge and carrying a gun.
I've heard him say that before, that he's a hero, and he absolutely 1,000% is. Absolutely.
Do God's work every single day, and he's among those. He is an absolute hero. He was willing to step up. There was no thin blue line. That's not the cloth from which he's cut. He doesn't care about those kinds of things. He's going to tell the truth because that's what he does. It's what he saw. It's what he heard. Whatever that is, that's what he's going to testify about. And that's what he did. He had the guts to get up on the witness stand and tell the jurors exactly what he saw. And what he saw was, and what he established was, that taillight was not broken, not completely smashed out when Michael Proctor first got a hold of that truck. It did not look like it did after he got a hold of it and after all those taillight pieces were found at 34 Fairview. That tells the jury all they need to know about the condition of the taillight and what Michael Proctor and his people were doing with that car.
Alan, who is in the running to play you in the movie?
I thought it was you. You and I talked about this, Greg. You said it was you.
I have done some acting.
It is so crazy, man. There's going to be a movie. I can't wait for the movie to come out. It's going to be amazing. And I know a lot of it's going to be redundant for like us in our community, because we know things. So they are going to have things in there that we don't know. They have to, or else we don't need to see the movie. We're living it, right? So that's going to be super exciting. I wonder who is going to play Alan Jackson, man. I just love him, man. And you know what else? I was just thinking about this. I was thinking about, like, listen to how sure he is of Karen Reed's innocence. And we've heard him talk before about how sure he is, just how sure we are, because we've seen all the lack of evidence, right? Regarding the unaliving of John O'Keefe. He would die on this hill. I think physically die on this hill. And if you're willing to die for something, what you're saying is the truth. When you're a smart guy like Alan Jackson, and you don't die for a lie, just like the disciples that and I don't mean to turn this into a religious show today, but just like Paul, like he was willing to die because he knew it was the truth. People don't die for lies; they just don't.
You're going to have to go to Modern Pastry and just eat there for the whole civil trial for that to work.
He has an IMDb page, not a big deal.
I think there's an undeniable likeness. Come on. Yeah, I have no idea. Who knows? Who knows? Right. Danny DeVito, maybe. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time, and it is of interest, I think, that you are now joining that team that will not only defend the civil case with Karen, but also
it's amazing
whether or not there is a lawsuit to be filed. So, Wiggy, did you have one?
No, the only question I had for
Alan, Wiggy didn't watch much of the trial. I couldn't get him into it. I tried.
He wants Idris to
No,
play.
yeah.
He
Yeah,
is-
exactly. Wiggy, I'll take my apologies now, Wiggy.
No,
by the
no,
way. I'll
believe
take my
me.
apology now.
Listen, the one thing I learned growing up as a kid, always know a defense lawyer. The thing I would just ask is, you know, in this situation, you talked about the money the state spent. Clearly, Karen Reed spent a ton of money. Where does she go to? I mean, it's probably impossible for her to get her life back, but where does she go to be
Get
able to
her money
recoup
back?
some of that money to pay you guys off?
That's it. I mean, look. First of all, I don't care about the money. I've made it pretty clear in other forums that's not why I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm doing it because it's the right thing to do. Every once in a while, you have this magnum opus case in front of you as a lawyer, and you better be willing to step up and do the right thing. Look yourself in the mirror and realize that at the end of your career,
It's not completely
there have been times
altruistic.
when people have needed you, people in need that can't do what they want to do and need to do without you, and you're just going to step up. So that's what we
you
did.
say
That's what
that,
I did.
Alan, you say that and people lose their minds. They say there's no way this guy's working for free. Think of all the attention that he's gotten out of this. Like, what's your answer to that when people say that?
My answer is that's exactly what's happened. I have not asked for a dime from her because it's cost her life, not just a bank account. It's not she was not a rich woman to begin with. She was
That's
she was
not
doing
what he
just
was
fine.
asking.
She was
asking the point I just made. He's not. It's not completely altruistic. Like meaning, it's not. He's not doing it because he's not getting anything out of it. He's just not asking for cash. You know, he's saying like look, you're getting some fame. You're getting paid. You're going to be probably a consultant on the movie. Not probably. He's going to be a consultant on the movie, which pays tremendous. That's not what I get what he's saying, and it was just what I was just talking about. You know, what do you say to people that say, well, yeah, you might not be getting paid from her, but you know, you're getting a lot of attention, which means you're getting a lot of, you know, look at that case he just got in California because of the Karen Reed case. He just got that not hit and run, but the kid that unalived those 4 or 3 beautiful young University of Pepperdine students in Malibu. He wasn't drunk, but anyways, he got that case because of his notoriety, I guess, and so that is payment within itself.
doing just fine, and she was certainly better than a lot of folks financially. She was not a wealthy woman. It cost her everything. It cost her her life, her reputation, her job, her professorship, her entire bank account. She had to sell her house. She doesn't have a car. It's cost her everything. So what am I going to do? Sit there and peel off more layers of that onion? If she were to get some sort of reprieve, some sort of financial reprieve, I couldn't live with myself. I could not live with myself. So every once in a while, it's just the right thing to do. So I don't know where she goes to sort of get her life back. She's going to try. She's going to work for it. She's not going to try. She's going to succeed. She will get her life back. She's going to land on her feet. She already has. This is the first step in that process. But I'm not worried about Karen Reed. Karen Reed is as tough as nails. She's as tough as shoe leather, and she's not going to let this get her down. There will be another very, very significant chapter to her life. What that looks like, only time will tell.
I'm a lock
Yeah,
that
only
number
time
in.
will tell.
Yeah. You may get a call. You may get a call from Wiggy Al.
Yeah,
I might know somebody. I might need you one day.
I like you pro bono.
Civil trial not live streamed, correct?
Doubtful. No,
Okay.
there hasn't been a request, a media request that I'm aware of, and who knows what the judge would do in that case. But it's very, very unlikely. Very unlikely.
Very, yeah.
Alan, you're welcome on the show anytime, and look forward
Awesome,
to
man.
catching up when you get back here in Boston, which became your
You
second.
guys are great. Yeah, keep a bowl of chowder warm for me. I'm coming back.
All right,
Chowder.
Alan Jackson, thank you for taking the time, and we will be right back.
Wow, that was amazing, guys. I just thoroughly enjoyed that. Hey, Johnny Lunchbucket says, to set the record straight, the federal arrest saved my life. God doing for me what I couldn't do for myself. The worst day of my life was getting set up. Same, but also the best day of my life. I agree, brother, 1,000%. That's exactly my same situation. I mean, all of us that are in there for that, we can say that story. But not all of us believe what you and I believe, and it was the best and worst day of my life. Absolutely. I'd be dead. When I used to go, but like people, you go to AA meetings or NA meetings, people are like, man, if I wouldn't have, I'd be dead right now. I don't know, either OD'd or been, killed in a drug deal gone bad, and not all drug deals don't go bad. It's not the movies out there, but a lot do. And people do get, unalived, and drug deals going bad, but you don't hear of it often. But anyways, what I'm saying is, when I would hear people say that, I'd be like, dude, come on, that's super grandiose. You'd be okay. You might still be an addict or something, but no, I believe like I would be dead. I either would have taken my own life, I would have OD'd again, or been in a prison riot, which I've been in plenty because I did all USP time. Innocent guys get unalived in there all the time, or guys who can't pay their gambling debts or their drug debts, or just they're bad on their case or whatever, or maybe just a guy in another gang just doesn't like you. But anyways, that's a whole other show. But yeah, thanks for the comment, and thanks for participating in the chat today, Johnny. I appreciate you. Super do. I'm gonna spend a little bit of time in the chat. And yes, James Collins cares. I did get my hair cut, brother. I cut it myself. I put my hair up with a rubber band, and I just took the clippers and, did the sides and all the way around. And I just couldn't stand it anymore. I really couldn't. And I might take off the rest too. I'm just, I think I'm just getting too old for hair. I don't know. It makes me feel like not myself for some reason. I don't know what it is. But yeah, it's nuts. So, see if there's any super chatterooskies. Nope. Cool. I don't have to go down the list. So yeah, man, guys, I thought that was great. I think Alan Jackson is great. I am so stoked. We have so much more of this to cover, to talk about. I love it. It's one of the most exciting court cases I've covered in a long time. You guys know I have the whole other legal channel, Legal Livewire, Court Cam. If you haven't already, go over there. I don't put out a lot of content anymore there because I focus on the After the Bars channel now. And I do have another new channel called News on Trial, where we talk about stuff. We talk about, like, we break down news stories, and we kind of put that news story on trial, like, what's factual, what's not factual, is it left or right centered? So be expecting content on that. I haven't done anything yet for that channel. I don't even have time for my legal channel that has, 16,000 subscribers. I don't even, pay attention to that. So I don't even know why I started this other one. I did it mainly for mini documentaries. So I don't know. What's going on. But thanks, guys, for coming out today, man. I really appreciate you. If you guys have any comments or questions, go ahead and shoot them in the chat right now, and I'll answer them or shout them out. Good morning, Danette. Good to see you. I'll just do a quick little run through. Ned and Coco Speech Shop, good morning to you. Just getting to the people I missed. Yeah, Johnny, same, brother. Man, I'm so stoked that you're here this morning. See who else is here that I didn't see earlier. Cheryl, good morning to you, Cheryl. I got Danette. Deborah Medeiros? Is that how you said Medeiros? Good morning to you, Deborah. Thanks so much for being here. Course Cat K, Shell Dub, Ben Bacon Bits. Did I say mark my words? That's funny.
Oh my gosh.
No, God, please, no, no, no.
Yeah, so I don't know, man. I don't know. I guess that's it for today. I would love to do a another show this afternoon. I guess I'll have to check in with the fam. Did they catch the bar shooter? No, they have not. They did catch the teacher though. I think I already did talk about that a little bit. Out east, the teacher that took the lives of that couple, they did catch him. They caught him getting a haircut at a beauty salon. Oh wait, no, I'm mixing up two different stories. The teacher they caught, the ex vice lord gang member, or maybe he still is. Jumpsuit Pablo covered it. The guy who took the lives of his girlfriend's family or something like that. His girlfriend was an ex prison CEO. I don't know. I don't know enough about it to talk about it, but maybe I should do a show on it. It seems pretty interesting. I'll be late to the show, but it seems really interesting. Well, I appreciate that, Johnny Lunchbucket, man. For real, man. I need some new blood in the community. I don't need it. I want it. Some new blood in the community. This is a great community. It's a safe community. We all protect each other. We all love each other. It's amazing. It really is, man. So, man, thank you so much, man. I appreciate you so much. Usually I'll do another like half hour where I'll talk about to the community if there's stuff to talk about, but no one's got any stuff to talk about today. So I'm going to end it here. It'll be perfect. I'll be able to get some shorts out of it. Thanks so much for coming out, hanging out with me today, guys. Talk about the Karen Reed trial or the Karen Reed situation. It's not even a trial no more. Hopefully there's more to come. I'm sure there will be. I'm going to go surf YouTube and see if there's anything else I can talk about today, and maybe I'll do another one. So stay tuned. I am Sam. This is After the Bars. Thank you guys so much. And remember to always be kind to yourself. Don't beat yourself up, and be intrusively kind to others. If you see someone with their head down, maybe kind of like look underneath and check in with them, tell them they look good today. If you have a friend that's been in the gym, say, man, you look great, man. We love hearing that from our friends. And just be kind. Just be kind. All right, guys. Mahalo.
Stay loud. Don't be woke. Stay wild. Stay